Question relating to depreciation. See, under the Act, earlier when the Electricity Supply Act, the residual where the life was given as 25 years in the Act. New York doesn't prescribe any life. Yes. Earlier Act, 25 years. It also prescribed 10% as the residual value at the end of 22 years. The Companies Act prescribed different set of depreciation. The income tax rules prescribes different set of provisions. So the companies were having a lot of problem in having three sets of these things. There is still a lot of representation to come. The earlier regulations provided 90% of them will be recovered in a period of 20 years. Right. Is what they think. Right. Many companies also, including private sector companies, represented, if I have to recover my capital cost in 22 years, my fund flow gets affected. Nobody gives me loan for more than 10 years. How can it be fund flow? So this we have addressed in this. What we have and also addressing to bring as close to the Companies Act also. So what we have done in the new regulation effective from 1st April is, we have practically adopted the rate of Schedule 14 of the Companies Act as the depreciation rate, so that there is your accounting as well as the tariff more or less close to that. And at the same time, if we allow the entire thing to come, there is a tariff uniformity is not there. That is, after 12 years, the tariff will become 1/3 of that. Then again company gets affected. So what we did was, we calculated the loan period and all could be about 12 years. Today, a 10-year loan can be very easily taken with a moratorium of 2 years. So first 12 years we allowed the depreciation equal to the Companies Act, that is 5.6 or 5.4. By that approximately 70% of the capital cost gets recovered. The balance is distributed in the rest of the life. A sort of I would say it's a compromise. We thought it will satisfy the consumers also. We can front load everything, so that way we do. Impact is about the new stations. Yeah. To some extent, it will increase immediately. But if you have a mix of new and old, it will balance out. That is what is happening.
How about the ultra mega projects? Ultra mega projects. Now the tariff bidding is the government policy.
Yes.
For the new stations.
So that is under the policy. I forgot to mention actually. Now, of course, a moratorium of 5-year period to public finance, which also will end in 2010. All the electricity utilities can buy power only by competitive bidding. So under that clause only the ultra mega power project is there, where the detailed norms need not be followed. You finally, based on what is the tariff you have quoted, suppose there is some indexing is there. 1 rupee, 60 paise, 70 paise, tariff is definitely very competitive bidding price. But at the same time, we should not be mistaken. The actual price will be only 1 rupee. Other indexing will be there, so it will have some effect. After all, nobody can invest also 20 years in that period, a huge amount. So that will come in case of the future also. From 2010, even all the PSUs also, they have to participate in the tender. No exemption to any government companies or anything. Everybody has to fall in line. That is it.
Thank you very much.
The interstate transmission, which takes place, interstate transmission, which takes place at 400 kilovolt or 220 kilovolt or 800 kilovolt. So where this frequency based on that we control it. It is only it varies. Impact is if there is any major shutdown or major overdrawal, then it is where there is a penalty and the other thing is there. There is an online monitoring is there. The regional load dispatch centers are there. They have to do the online monitoring. And then where it is done, we call the people, provisions also provide even the personal penalty on the officer in charge. I can tell you that they have done that exercise that also. They call the MD of a company and they penalize him personally that it should not be paid, it is to pay from his pocket. Maybe nominal, just to send a message. That is provision is there. Similarly, in the state also, that is a provision. Grid code provides the voltage in the distribution level, it should be so and so. Variation, percentage only that allowed. It has to be monitored by the load dispatch center. Unfortunately, what is happening? The law provides the state governments to constitute autonomous load dispatch centers. Whereas in respect of center, it has been already done, all the regional dispatch centers and national level. The state level, no state has done. Otherwise, to some extent has done, I can say. They are not autonomous. They are constituted. In Andhra they are constituted, but not autonomous. They have to a body of the bill which will report the variations to the state regulatory commissions. The abnormal variations within that they have to monitor. That is because from the regional level, the distribution of voltages cannot be monitored. You cannot because number of substations and only these people can monitor. Number one. Second is the consumer forum which has to they have to constitute. There is a provision specifically these complaints have to be admitted within so many days and they have to send their report to the regulatory commission, state regulatory commission, and if it is not attended, the consumer has got a right to directly approach the commission. That is they can do that. As there is an umbrella body, there is only there are I'm talking AP itself. There is AP Transco is there. And there are 4 distribution companies and then 1 generating companies. AP Transco chairman is the chairman for all other companies. There will be MD and all. So it is still an umbrella body, legally constituted but not really separated. Another one is so the complaints, if they don't attend, the regulatory commission issues notice. It has to develop, slowly it has to develop. Then they got into trading sector. Whatever I understand in California was the trading because the utility has to tie up the whatever power requirement. Long term as well as short term. General philosophy is at least the bulk of your requirement you should tie up long term and go to the market for a derivative purchase for the variations. The California what I was told, I read only. I was asking also the same meeting. They did not tie up anything. They thought it is open because the market is so perfect. Because the Americans believe corporate market is so perfect and then only they suffer. So they thought everything will go on like that. So ultimately, naturally, it ended up being a big fiasco and nobody invested and then.
There was also some speculative trading.
Speculative only. What happened? They gave a trading. What they did was the time related tariff they only buy. So evening 6 o'clock highest tariff. So I set off my plant the day I start the plant at 5 o'clock. And continue just after midnight. After midnight, if the tariff falls, I will shut down. Then the hospital also will not have power. This type of intelligence. What we have in India has got been done is all the regulatory commissions, state levels and things, the utilities have to tie up bulk of the power on power purchase agreement basis, which are 20 years long agreement or 10 years or whatever it is. So what they will buy from the exchange is only to tide over the shortages, peak, there is a peak and non-peak differences are there. So they will meet out of this. So that the speculation, yes, there will be some variations that is also there. Even in the present sale figures are saying the power at evening between 5 to 12 o'clock is the highest. Because every day the demand is there during the time and there is there. But there will be a boundary. That is one thing. There is also, we have also established mechanism in the sense that regularly we have set up a group of people in the commission on a day-to-day basis. They will monitor this thing link up, and then so far there was no need for us to intervene or anything because volumes are very low, not much taking place, very small volumes are taking place. The rules are made similar to whatever yes. One thing here in the sense, difference is, here it is all settlement of by physically delivering, no question of paper settlement. Somebody has offered to supply, somebody has offered to buy, they have to take it. Because the lines, power lines are blocked, everything is blocked for them. The question speculation comes, I go on, I bid, and then I don't take it, I only pay the differences, like the stock exchange and everything. Here the delivery is the essence as far as so far as that is the reason we are not permitted long-term thing so far. First we have done overnight, there is a demand for weekly. Maybe sometime the market stabilization will improve. Weekly or
Yes. I would admit in different ways because Professor Akimov brought out the energy future in Russia and he pointed out how alternative scenarios are there, but underlying his scenarios was an interesting story itself of how that the power sector faces a problem of an aging capacity which requires huge capital investments for renovation and in fact brought out a challenge to the model of privatization because the model of privatization did not adequately take into account the problem required of replacement cost. I should inform him that there is an analog to this which happened in India as well, in a somewhat different way. In our hurry to privatize power, and the story of power is actually fascinating because it's an example of how you try to move from something which was treated in the earlier textbooks as a service. I mean, power was being treated analogous to other public services to be supplied by the government through a government department to a commodity. I mean, that change in attitude between the notion of power as a service to a commodity has meant. But in India, this happened in the 90s when privatization took place. One of the earliest privatizers was the state of Odisha. And exactly the same problem happened, though in a very funny way. There was a cyclone, and the cyclone led to huge destruction in the power capacity. And the problem was that the privatized entities simply did not have the wherewithal to replace that thing. And the question came up is how does that get replaced? Because nobody had thought about risks, nobody had thought about insurance, and they were very keen to privatize because they were only thinking about a short-term trading model in power. The current exercise that way is somewhat more cautious in trying to sort of look at power as a more long-term problem. Though even here, Mr. Jayaraman has presented a story and he has pointed out the flaws and the limitations in what they have achieved. There are still enormous challenges present in India. I am not going to summarize what he has done because he has done an encyclopedic task of describing the work done in power sector regulation in India. But there are still enormous challenges and trying to convert a service into a commodity faces problems. One of the principal problems in India continues to be, which he himself pointed out, is that for large fact, there is a problem in the fact that still there is a significant player is the state. Whether it is directly or indirectly, most of the companies which are there, major players, are state-owned companies. And because the state is present in such a big way, getting the regulatory authority to make the state behave is a challenging task, especially in an area like energy and power. The second problem which comes up is we don't really have a settled notion of what exactly does regulation mean. There are lots of confusions, both in the political sphere, in the civil society, as well as in the courts, about what exactly a regulator can do. In fact, one of the things which we will have to do through dialogue, research and learning is to establish limits for different players, particularly the courts, in deciding what is it which is the appropriate jurisdiction for the courts and what is the appropriate jurisdiction for the regulator. This is not something I want to spell out in too much detail now, and since Professor Mishra has kind enough to mention that he's asked me to come here and give a talk, I hope to dwell on some of these things, because the courts in their approach to regulators have not been very clear, because a writ jurisdiction means they should primarily interfere in matters of law. But in practice, that is not what has happened. They have gone into matters of fact, they have gone into matters of detail, and I wish, since I'm using the privilege of the chair, I would not like to leave you with as rosy a picture as Mr. Jairam is. There is still some regulatory uncertainty, not on account of what the regulatory authorities are doing, but the way the system as a whole is approaching the regulatory problem. So, thanks all of you. It has been a really interesting session. Thank you.
And we are at dinner at 8:30. 8 o'clock. Okay, 8 o'clock. 8
The two-day intensive seminar, and welcome to the mandatory session of this two-day seminar on India and Russia problems in ensuring the energy security. And you all agree with me if I say that we had 2 days of extensive presentations and intensive discussions. And now I request Hiranmani to present a bouquet to Professor R.K. Mishra. Dr. Balram. And Dr. Thank you. Yes. I now request Professor R.K. Mishra sir to give his welcome address.
Professor Dekiko, Dr. Ranjit Sinha, Professor Anand, Dr. Balramurthy, our respected participants from Russia, the Indian delegates, comes to an end, but I don't feel sad about it, because we also say where things end, a beginning also, starts. And I can say that in the presence of Professor Jawad Alam and Dr. Sinha, Dr. Anand, because they can make it possible. We are very proud of this collaboration, Indo-Russian collaboration. Professor Alam spoke about it. We have gone a long way, but India and Russia, they are part of the BRIC, and whole world expects that they go a very, very long way. I think so many more things have to come. And in the pursuit of doing that, I'm sure this commission, this collaboration will do many more things, and we can assure as a part of the ICSR our involvement in that, because we find the program very interesting, especially the research part of it, the dialogue which takes place between Russia and India. Professor Alam yesterday underlined a very, very important thing, that during some period between 1990 and 1996, the relations became weak, and I think, as a student, sir, I will say that they became weak also partly because the dialogue was not there. So we have to strengthen this dialogue, and out of this dialogue many good things can happen, and one part of that, one indication of that comes from this seminar, energy security. Energy security afflicts the entire world. In fact, there are only three things. I'll say energy, food and well-being. These are the three things which afflict 3/4 of the total population of the world. And if we can ensure a minimum energy security, if we can ensure a minimum amount of food grains, and if we can ensure good health to people, I'm sure we can have a prosperous world, we can have a peaceful world. Because peace and prosperity will come from energy security, from the food security, and also, elimination of poverty. So, energy security is a very, very important part of the global agenda of the Millennium Goals, which have been brought out by United Nations, which have been accepted worldwide, irrespective of the bloc, and as a strength of economics, of social sciences, one can only say that one feels very happy that the two great countries of the globe, they have come together through the Russian Academy of Social Sciences and through the Indian Council of Social Sciences. They have put together a group of very active academics, great thinkers, and if they meet together, they create a climate for future dialogue. I'm very sure that the two countries not only they will benefit, but they will provide a good input, they will generate good thinking for the entire world. And on this occasion, I once again thank the ICSR, which has given the opportunity to IPE to associate itself with this very great task, and I can only ensure that IPE will go to any extent to which ICSR would like it to take up such tasks. We'll be very happy to do. We'll be very happy to take up research on some of these topics. We'll welcome the delegations in future. Our faculty and staff will be very happy to promote this dialogue and to constantly remain a part of this dialogue. I also thank our respected participant from Russia. I think it's a very great thing to come, from such a far place to India. There are problems in travel. You feel, somewhat very inconvenient when you leave your home. But all of them, you have come here. I know there are problems. We have been able to attend to you to some extent. Some sacrifices have been made, and if we have not done certain things, we feel very unhappy about it. We're sorry about it, but we can ensure that when we come next time, you will not find these things there. We are also grateful to our Indian participants. They have taken time off and have come all the way to this place and made the dialogue very, very effective. And when I say that, let me also thank the ICSR administration. Not to Dr. Jahangir, because I have been knowing Dr. Jahangir for many years and he has been helping the institute, but for the access that we have with them and the support that we get from the ICSR administration to take up academic ventures, and also the freeness in thinking. We are extremely grateful for that, and on behalf of IB, let me thank Dr. Ranjit Sinha, also Dr. Jahangir, Sureshji over there, and Vermaji. They have come all the way here, but I know that their colleagues have worked for this in ICSR also, especially with Dr. Javed. He is not here because he had to be there. I had requested him to come, but he could not come because somebody has to be there. But all my friends there in ICSR, they have taken an extra step to make this a great success. Let me also thank Professor Anand. I have been following it up with him, and we are not very sure, but only a couple of days back, we got an indication that he would come, and today we have benefited immensely from his remarks and from chairing the session. And when I say that, let me also thank my colleagues over here. Some of them are here. We have Dr. Janki and Dr. Kiran there, then Dr. Lakshmi over there. Mr. Gordon has been always, I think, all the time, working on this. And on that side, we have Mr. Bandar and Lalita, they have been working on that. And then we have our special officer on administration, Mr. Sapnayana. Without them, we would not have been able to do this. But they have told me that they would like to do much more in future. And they like, I think, these kind of challenges. So I thank you very much. Also, Dr. Javed Alam, who could come here on 24th, he was very busy, but he told that he will come for the seminar. And we can see the interest, his interest in this. He was practically here in all these sessions. Normally, we find that at that level, you come in inaugural function, you never come afterwards. But then he thought that it is a very, very topical subject, especially I think for India, maybe for Russia too, but for India, yes, it's very, very important as a part of GDP, subsidies that we give, the problems that we have in our country, geopolitical problems, and as a social scientist, he knew, I think, as an social scientist, it's a very, very important topic, and he was here. He has been here all the time to lead us and to give his guidance. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peace and Prosperity. I now request Professor Rebecca to give his address. Yeah.
Professor Sinha and Professor Yusuf, host here. It's very strange to see you from here, from this point. The hope is really strange, because I see on the right side the Indian participants. On the opposite side, I see Russian participants. I think it's so strange because in these 2 days we became one family. Just 2 days is needed for people who didn't know each other. They communicate, they have their tea, coffee, and speeches. And well, that is the violation of human rights. No, I was just outcast in this. But you need to have somebody very low, in the society who is outcast, just for others to be proud of their goodness. So I'm one serious Pinewala, So that is a very remarkable conference. So I admit I understood not much of your terminology, of your speeches, of your inspirations. Again, I'm a sort of outcast, but that is the conference. It is still going on, which is not for just a close group of specialists. It is not that everybody is talking with almost the only specialist in the world, is talking with another, the only specialist in the world. And that is all. Not so many people were present here, but I mean that the subject is very important for many, many people outside this hall, outside this place, outside even this country. This is really, we were talking about the future, and I'm sure there is no good future for the world in case we do not have India and Russia speaking in dialogue. I like very much that you used the word dialogue several times. This is really very important. And this conference is coming to the end. It's not the end in itself. It's not something terminating some period. It's even not even opening the new period. It is just our station on our way from one point to another, maybe to eternity, I don't know. But this is very important that it goes in dialogue style, and that again Russians and Indians are sitting and talking. We never had, and I think it's a very rare example in our world, these two countries never had any war between us, never on any level. And that again proves we are one family. I mean that